Before we leave the claim mindset concept of how do we think through all things, a model that might give us a way in to do research, I wanted to make sure to highlight something for you that I really didn't have time for in the authority section before. So here it is. I wanted to identify sources of authority of any given cultural moment, of any given nation, of any given people group. Because these sources come from different places, and I wanted to make sure at least to point this out. One of the sources that some people identify is their own personal experience, and they think that experience trumps all other things, and that's really most important to them. Human reason is probably the biggest one, and I would suspect that in the United States of America, it's one that constantly gets the focal point. Let's just say, for instance, anybody who mentions the word science is going to highlight human reason and their belief that human beings actually create the kinds of things that they see around them. Then there's the issue of culture. Culture is simply how we live, but the authority that we get from culture might be something as simple as Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. These kinds of ideas could have some kind of subliminal authority over us, and it's something at least to keep in mind and consider. One of the other within the cultural range, but quite frankly, I think it needs its own category, is celebrity status. There are certain people in this world that have celebrity status of worth millions and billions of dollars, and I'm usually going, how in the world did they become famous? Well, 3 reasons usually: money, sex, and power. Those things have been going on for millennia. It's nothing new. I'm not explaining something that is a oh wow moment. These are things that we see all around us all the time. Those are the 3 basic categories within which celebrities will have any kind of oversight or authority into our lives. And you can think about the celebrities you follow and ask yourself, is that really true of me? Another one would be tradition. This is something that, let's say, for instance, we do at Thanksgiving. We always have Thanksgiving dinner. We always have grandma and grandpa there. We always have the aunts and uncles come in. Everybody sits around a large table. That's tradition. It's something that you do all the time. It's something like a perennial flower that comes up every year. So tradition is something that some people and some people groups actually focus on and say, that's where my authority comes from. Another one, and especially in a public university that doesn't get much emphasis, is revelation. There are billions and billions of people around the world that, say for instance, believe that the Quran in Islam is the revelatory word from God. Or for the Christian, it's going to be the Old and the New Testaments. Or for the Jewish people, it's going to be the Old Testament, or maybe specifically Torah. So revelation, the word that comes from outside of us, from a God from outside of us that gives us information, to some people that's going to be their source of authority. I wanted to make sure to at least point these things out because, quite frankly, they just kind of get passed over and we really don't think much about where does authority come from. So I want you to keep those things in mind and plug it in maybe in the back of your brain someplace, put it on the back burner as some folks say, and don't forget that you're always going to have somebody accede to one of these aspects of life and say, the reason why I think this is the authority in life is because I say so. Well, there's their experience. Or because science says so, there's reason. Or because the Bible says so, or the Quran says so, there's their reason. I wanted to give you just a snapshot of that today.